She thought she had escaped poverty for a life of peace and luxury, but what Mira found was far from freedom. It was a hot afternoon when Mira stood by the window, watching her husband, Tayo, fix the broken gate. His shirt was wet with sweat. His hands were dirty. The sun was hot, and still, he worked without rest. Mira sighed. I can't live like this anymore, she whispered to herself. Tayo was kind, yes. He loved her, truly, but they were always broke. No light, no water, sometimes only 1 meal a day. Mira wanted more. That's when she met Fred. Fred drove a big black car. He always wore shiny clothes and smelled nice. He came to Mira's salon one day to fix his haircut. From that day, he never stopped coming. He bought her gifts, phones, perfumes, even money. You are too beautiful for that kind of life, he said one day. Come with me. Leave all this behind. I will give you the world. Mira laughed, but deep inside, her heart started dancing. At night, she looked at Tayo snoring on the floor mat. The fan wasn't working. There was no fuel for the generator. That night, she didn't sleep. The next morning, she wrote a short note. Tayo, I'm sorry. I'm tired of suffering. I need more. I need peace. I hope you understand. She packed her bag, wore her best dress, and left. Fred was waiting in his car. He opened the door for her with a big smile. Welcome to your new life, my queen. Mira smiled back. She felt free. She felt happy. She didn't even look back. As the car moved far away from her home street, Mira closed her eyes and dreamed of the mansion Fred promised her. But what she didn't know was this: the mansion was not just big, it was full of secrets. When the big black car stopped, Mira looked out the window and gasped. The mansion was huge. It had tall gates with golden lions on each side. The walls were white like snow. The windows were shining like mirrors. Trees danced in the wind, and birds flew around happily. Fred smiled. Do you like it? Mira nodded fast. It's beautiful. Two men in black suits opened the gate. A woman in a maid uniform opened the car door. Welcome, madam, she said with a bow. Mira felt like a queen. Inside, the house was even more beautiful. The floor was shining like water. The chairs were soft and white. Painting hung on the walls. Paintings of strange faces. Some smiled, some looked sad. One had eyes that seemed to follow Mira everywhere she went. Fred gave her a tour. This is your room, he said, opening a pink door. The bed was big, bigger than anything Mira had ever slept on. There was a walk-in closet, a bathtub like in the movies, and a mirror that lit up when she smiled. That night, Fred gave her a golden necklace. From now on, everything you want, you will have, he said. Mira couldn't stop smiling, but as the night grew darker, she began to notice something strange. The maid who served her dinner didn't talk. She only stared. A picture on the wall near her room was covered with a black cloth. When she asked Fred about it, he said, don't worry, some things are better left unseen. Later that night, as she tried to sleep, Mira heard a noise. Tap, tap, tap. It came from the hallway. She sat up, holding her blanket tight. The tapping stopped. She opened her door slowly, looked left, looked right. Nothing. She laughed nervously. Maybe I'm just tired. But then she saw it. A shadow running past her door. And it wasn't Fred. The next morning, Mira woke up with a headache. She barely slept. She kept thinking about the shadow she saw in the hallway. Was it a dream, or was someone really there? At breakfast, Fred was reading the newspaper. Did you sleep well? He asked without looking up. Mira forced a smile. Yes, I think so. He nodded. Good. I have to travel today. I will be back in 3 days. If you need anything, just ask the maid. Mira's heart sank a little. You are leaving? Fred kissed her forehead. Don't worry, my queen, you are safe here. He left soon after, and the big house suddenly felt very quiet. Too quiet. Mira walked around to explore. The rooms were beautiful but strange. One room had doors in glass boxes. Their eyes were wide open, and some had tiny cracks on their faces. Another room had books, but not happy ones. They were old, dusty, and full of sad poems and scary drawings. Mira found a locked door at the end of the hallway. She tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. She turned to the maid. What's inside the room? The maid stared at her with blank eyes. You are not allowed there. But why? No one goes in, not even me. Mira frowned. Who lives here? Really? The maid looked around and whispered. Many people have come to this house, but not all of them live. Mira's hand turned cold. Later that evening, she decided to call her sister. She missed her call. She missed her. She missed someone who truly cared. But when she picked up the landline phone, there was no dial tone. She checked for network on her phone. Nothing. No signal. She mumbled. Strange. As she walked back to her room, she saw something on her bed. It was a red rose, but Fred wasn't home, and no one else was supposed to enter her room. Under the rose was a small paper. One sentence was written in shaky handwriting. You are not the first. Mira's finger shook as she held the small paper. You are not the first. She read it again and again. Who put it there? Was someone warning her or trying to scare her? She ran out of the room and called out, Hello, is anyone here? No answer. The house was too quiet. Even the air felt cold. She found the maid in the kitchen. Who went into my room? Mira asked. The maid didn't look up. She was cutting onions slowly, like she didn't hear the question. I said, who put this in my room? Mira raised her voice. The maid finally looked at her. Her eyes were glassy. No one enters that room except you. But I didn't put this. Mira waved the tone. The maid blinked, then turned back to the onions. This house remembers everything, she whispered. Mira stepped back. That night, Mira didn't sleep in her bed. She sat in the corner of the room with lights on. Her eyes stayed wide open, watching every shadow. At 2 a.m., she heard the noise again. Tap, tap, tap. And then soft singing. A woman's voice, sweet but sad. Don't open the door. Don't follow the light, or you will still hear every night. Mira froze. She stood up, walked to the door, and slowly opened it. No one was there, but the singing didn't stop. She followed the sound down the long hallway, past the painting with a black cloth. The singing led her to the locked door. Mira placed her hand on the door knob. It was ice cold. Suddenly, the maid appeared behind her. Don't, she said firmly. Mira jumped. Who is singing? No one sings here, the maid said. Go back to your room. But I heard. Go back now. Mira stepped away slowly. Her hands pounded like a drum. Back in her room, she sat on her bed, holding the golden necklace Fred gave her. I wanted a better life, she whispered. Not this. She didn't notice it then, but the necklace, it had started to turn black. The next morning, Mira woke up to the sound of birds, but they weren't singing, they were screaming. She rushed to the window. Black birds were flying in circles above the mansion, making loud, sharp cries. It was like they were warning her or warning someone. She closed the curtain quickly. Her hands went to her neck. The necklace was cold. She looked in the mirror. It was no longer cold. Now it was dark gray, like a storm cloud. She tried to pull it up, but it wouldn't move. She tugged harder, nothing. It's stuck, she whispered. She ran to the mirror in the hallway, the one that lit up when she smiled. This time, it didn't light up. Instead, it cracked. A thin line ran down the middle of the glass, right between her eyes. Behind her reflection, she saw a shadow, a woman with long hair, wearing white. Mira turned around quickly. No one was there. She ran downstairs looking for the maid. She found her outside, watering the flowers. "Please, I need to leave," Mira said. "Call Fred or give me a car. I want to go." The maid didn't stop watering. No one leaves unless the house lets them. Mira's chest tightened. "What are you talking about?" The maid looked at her and said something strange. "It brings them here, one by one. The house keeps them." Mira stepped back. "Who? Fred?" The maid nodded slowly. "He says he loves them. Then he gives them the necklace. Then the house washes and waits." Mira grabbed the maid's arm. "What happened to the others?" The maid looked at the sky. Some went mad. Some disappeared. One girl tried to run. She screamed for hours. The walls, they listened. Mira felt her legs shaking. She ran back inside, heart beating fast. She needed to leave now, but when she reached the front door and tried to open it, it wouldn't move. She pulled hard, kicked it, screamed. Nothing. The door was locked. From the inside, Mira ran from the door, her heart pounding like a drum. She tried the windows, locked. She tried the back door, locked. Even the tiny windows in the bathroom wouldn't open. It was like the house had turned into a prison. "No, this can't be happening," she whispered. She sat on the floor, hugging her nails. "I just wanted peace. I just wanted love." Then she remembered her phone. She rushed to get it. Maybe there was a signal now. No bars. She tried to call her sister anyway. No service. She ran up to the highest part of the house, the attic. Maybe the network would be stronger there. The attic's door was dusty and stiff, but it opened. Mira stepped outside. It was dark, with cobweb in every corner. Boxes were stacked everywhere. Old trunks, broken chairs, faded pictures. And then she saw it. A mirror, but not just any mirror. This mirror was round, with a golden frame that looked like snakes twisting together. She stepped closer. Her reflection was strained. Her eyes looked tired. Her skin looked pale. And behind her again, that woman in white. This time, she didn't run. She turned around slowly. The attic was empty. Mira looked back at the mirror. The woman was still there. But now, she was pointing towards a box in the corner. Mira hesitated, then walked to the box. It was heavy, but she opened it. Inside were things: old makeup, a phone, a pair of shoes, and a letter. She picked it up and read. "If you are reading this, then you are like me. You trusted Fred. You wore the necklace, and now you are part of the house. The only way to live is to break the chain. But not just yours, all of them." Mira looked down at the necklace on her neck, and for the first time, she saw something written very, very small. "Property of house number